Assalamu alaikum. We continue clear your doubts about Islam to an important point, which is, are the good deeds of non-believers rewarded? Are the good deeds of non-believers rewarded? Prophet Muhammad, may Allah exalt his mention, disclosed that God rewards according to the intention of each individuals, to each individual. Prophet Muhammad disclosed that God rewards according to the intention of each individual. The non-believer expects to be rewarded for his deeds in the present life because he denies or doubts the existence of another life after his death. Thus, he is keen that people should recognize what he does. When he is praised and his deed published or publicized, he is pleased, for this is the reward he sought. He might also obtain a sum of money in payment for it or a prize. This is the compensation he likes most, and God grants it to him. But he isn't given additional reward in hereafter, simply because he neither desired it nor worked for it. Again and again, it's very important to know. Again and again, it's very important to know. The non-believer expects to be rewarded for his deeds in the present life. Why? Because he denies or doubts the existence of another life after his death. And thus, he is keen that people should recognize what he does. When he is praised and this deed publicized to be public, he is pleased. And he is pleased, for this is the reward he sought. He might also obtain a sum of money, in payment for it or a prize. This is the compensation he likes most, and God subhanahu wa ta'ala grants it for him or to him. But actually, he isn't given additional reward in the hereafter, and it is simply because he neither desired nor worked for. Whereas the believer, on the other hand, is not duly concerned with compensation in this life, because he is serving, or he is striving for a greater eternal reward of the hereafter. He does so by worshipping God as he stipulated, and by working patiently, honestly, correctly, to the best of his ability, even when no person appreciates his efforts, because his deeds are done seeking God's acceptance, and they are appreciated by him subhanahu wa ta'ala and rewarded. Islam teaches that there are two conditions for God's approval and reward of any deed. Islam teaches that there are two conditions. There are two conditions for God's approval and reward for any deed. Number one, that it is done explicitly for his acceptance and approval. It is totally done for God approval and acceptance. And number two, that it is consistent with the methods obtained by him subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, a person must work for God according to the terms God has specified and not according to the individual preference or those of other people. And in order to know exactly what God expects of his slaves, it is necessary to refer to the legislation revealed by God in its final form, Quran, through Muhammad, his final prophet. Again and again, why the non-believers' deeds will not be rewarded for or desired, because when they did it, the non-believer will not be given additional reward in the hereafter, simply because he neither desired nor he worked for. Whereas the believer, on the other hand, his duty and his deeds, all his deeds, is not duly concerned with compensation in this life, because the believer is striving for the greater eternal reward of the hereafter. He does not he does so by worshipping God as he subhanahu wa ta'ala stipulated, and by working patiently, honestly, correctly, to the best of his ability, even when no person appreciates his efforts. He did that because his deeds are done seeking God's acceptance, so they are appreciated by God and rewarded in hereafter. Islam teaches that there is two conditions for God approval and reward of any deeds. To be accepted as a deed, there is only two conditions. Number one, the deed itself to be done for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala acceptance and approval. And number two, the way or the method obtained to be by him subhanahu wa ta'ala, or in other word, a person must work for God subhanahu wa ta'ala according to his terms he specified, and not according to the slave own preferences or other people. And in order to know exactly what God expects of his slaves, it is necessary to refer to the legislation revealed by him subhanahu wa ta'ala in his final form, thought Muhammad, may Allah exalt his mention, who is his final prophet. I will add another point because it is related to, which is why should someone be a Muslim? Why should someone be a Muslim? Can't we follow any religion? We please. There are many people who follow the teachings of a religion as best as they can, and others who believe in God in some way without practicing any formal religion. Anyone to whom God's message was not adequately conveyed, yet believed in him and tried to worship him with sincere intention, will be judged by God according to what is in his heart and mind, for he is the ultimate judge of all affairs. The Quran states that God never punishes a people until after he has sent them a messenger. That messenger came with a clear order to worship their Creator alone, having no partner, without any associates. It also states that he does not punish for what people are unable to know or what is beyond their capability. Many have abandoned the thought that there could be any true religion because nearly all religions claim to be true. And some allow that all religions are legitimate paths to God and are acceptable to Him. So, how is Islam different from other religions? It's a question which we should answer. Islam has several unique features which can be confirmed through deeper study. Number one, Islam is the only religion whose source have remained free of human alternation and interference. Number two, its divinity revealed scripture is the harmony with established facts of science, clearly bearing the signature of the creator of this universe. Number three, Islam provides answers to the essential fundamental questions which acquire to the mind of every intelligent person, those related to the purpose of creation and life, and concerning a further existence after death. Number four, Islam is the only religion which insists upon worship of the Creator alone and completely rejects the worship of any aspect of creation. Number five, Islam dispenses with all intermediaries between man and God and allows every individual to contact him directly, thus eliminating religious hierarchies and other sources of exploitation which have characterized the history of religions throughout the ages. In Islam, no clerk or establishment can come between a person and his creator. I'll analyze these, but I'll first count them and then analyze in the next, inshallah. Number six, while monotheistic faiths share a fundamental belief in God, their understanding of Him differ greatly. Islam declares that God is unique and in no way similar to any of His creation, nor does He merge with it in any form. His attributes are those of complete and absolute perfection without the slightest deficiency or limitation. And number seven, unlike other religions and ideologies using other idols, unlike other religions and worshipping other idols with God, which emphasizes some aspects of human nature at the expense of others. Islam accommodates the physical, intellectual, spiritual aspects of man. Islamic beliefs and practices are natural and appeal to common sense. They present a balanced program of life that fulfills both physical and spiritual needs. Islam prohibits blind following without knowledge and is based upon evidence and logic. The rational mind is the basis for religious accountability and responsibility. All aspects of Islamic belief are clear, without any obscurity or ambiguity. It contains no tenet that contradicts reason or observable reality, and it calls on people to study and contemplate as a means of strengthening faith. Number 9, Islamic religious, moral, economic, political, and social ethics are permanent and remain constant. They are governed by a set of unchanging principles which include such universal values as justice, freedom, equality, brotherhood, and social responsibility. History provides an outstanding example in the model Islamic society established by Prophet Muhammad, may Allah exalt his mention, and his companions, and maintained for decades by devoted Muslims, where truth and transparency, justice, and compassion were implemented in a vital expression of the religion. Islam also declares that it is the religion of truth, for this is stated unambiguously in the Quran. Islam also declares that it is the religion of truth, for this is stated ambiguously in the Quran. However, the Creator does not force his preference on anybody, and he wants people to accept right guidance by their own choice and free will, because that is what makes them worthy of his approval and reward. The Quran states in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 256, there is no compulsion in accepting religion. لا إكراه في الدين. Why? قد تبين الرشد من الغي. What is the meaning? There is no compulsion in accepting religion. Why? The truth has been made distinct from the falsehood. Had Allah willed, He would have made you one nation, united in religion, but He intended to test you in what He has given you, so hasten to act that is good. To Allah is your return altogether. Allah is saying He can make all His creation one nation. He can do that. He can, and if He willed, He would have made them one nation, united in religion with one religion. But actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us and intended to test us, and for that reason He created us. So it is our responsibility to hasten to all that is good, and to Allah will be our return altogether. We will stop here to continue next time if possible. جزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.